Who is in the best 17 for the Dolphins this year? The Zero Tackle team here, we've made our call and we're going to break it down for you in this video. But before we do that, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have plenty of NRL content coming out for you this year. So with all that being said, let's go. 2025 Dolphins best 17. Before we get into it, make sure you're set for the new season with Zero Tackle's 2025 NRL season guide. The comprehensive season guide features over 120 pages of dedicated, detailed footy content ahead of the 2025 season, with profiles of every single player, team previews, fixtures, recruitment reports, and much, much more. Best of all, it's free. Get it now from zerotackle.com. And here to break it down, the best 17 for the Dolphins in 2025, it's Darren Parkin, our Zero Tackle analyst. So, new era for the Dolphins. Woolf in, Bennett out. How are we looking?
Yeah, I think they've done okay over the first couple of years. They probably exceeded expectations for a new franchise. They would have been frustrated probably not to have snagged one final spot through those two seasons. They've faded out late in both of those years. Injuries are a pretty big factor in 2024. Stretched their depth a bit too far, which was probably lacking. They have to fill a leadership void as well. Their inaugural skipper, Jesse Bromwich, stepping away. So, challenges for them. But, I think it's an exciting time. Probably a touch less pressure on them now.
Yep. All right. Let's take a look at the backline. All right, so starting as always with the number one in fullback, we have Hamiso Tubawai-Fido.
Yeah, pace, agility to burn, hits the scoreboard. He's the hammer, the key man for the other Dolphins at both ends of the park. And they've tried moving him around into a number of different roles, but really they shouldn't be doing that. They know where he should play. He should be an absolute lock in this position. So, hopefully that penny drops with Woolf. But if he does run into injuries and they need to replace him through Origin, for example, Jake Averillo, who will certainly start somewhere else, could be used to place him. But Trey Fuller going down with a season-ending ACL has probably hurt their depth a little bit there as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then in the wings, we have Jermaine Isako and Jack Bostock. Yeah,
Isako, interesting player, turned his career around, but generally plays his best under Wayne Bennett. So obviously he's got to transfer that now to a new regime. Jack Bostock, height and speed, bit of an unchanged starting pair likely for them. They did bring Junior Tapo across from the Tigers, which might change that around a little bit. And Fagai providing a fair bit of depth after he came across too.
Yeah. And you mentioned Averillo before. We've got him in the centres alongside Farnworth.
Yeah, Averillo, forever a utility, but has found a home in the centres. Might have to cover at fullback if needed, but otherwise will stay there. And Farnworth keeps getting better and probably still a tiny bit underrated as a player.
Yep. And going with the same halves combination as last year, pretty much, like Cody Nikarima and Isaiah Katoa.
Yeah, they did float around the signing of Ben Hunt when he was on the table. They were one of the clubs that did ask the question a little bit, and that would have clearly changed this up a little bit, but it didn't happen, so that looks fairly settled for them now. And in terms of backup, Sean O'Sullivan probably hasn't hit expectation, but he can provide a bit of depth. Kurt Donohue's a guy that's pressing for a spot in the 13, so he'll put some pressure on the Katoa and Nikarima combination.
Yep. All right, let's take a look now at the forward pack. All right, so looking at the props, we have Daniel Saifiti and Thomas Flegler, who has an asterisk next to his name, as always, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, he does. So, I mean, Saifiti, former Origin-level player. If he reaches career best form, he's going to be a dynamite recruit for them if they can capture that. As we say, Flegler listed in their best 13 because that's what he is. He would be in it. He's clearly not going to play early, and he's got a bit of an unknown return date. We know the nerve damage in the shoulder, so he'll be there when he's fit. And the prognosis looks a little bit brighter. The suggestions are that he's certainly creeping closer. Mark Nichols would probably start in the event of Flegler's absence or for however long that takes. And in the lock role, Tom Gilbert, another player who's missed nearly 2 years, missed the back end of 2023 with, I think, a shoulder and then all of last year with an ACL. So if he's at his best, going to be very valuable for them. Max Plath, the one that covered for him through all of last season, will start on the bench and do so again if needed.
Yep. And in the number 9, someone that's earned that spot, so Jeremy Marshall-King.
Yeah, there's been a few that have emerged across the competition into this role, but you went from a solid depth player to a certain starter through sheer hard work, really. When he missed last year, they felt that significantly. Harris Graham will serve as his understudy and play where required.
Yep. And the second rowers, so Kaufusi and Finifawaki.
Yeah, Kafusi should retain his spot in the second row. There's a few others. Connolly Lamulu is the most likely challenger for the role. Kenneth Bromwich, James Walsh, they could also feature. And Finifawaki comes across from the Cowboys and looks ready to launch a pretty long career.
Yep. All right, let's take a look at their interchange. All right, so some good options here. We have Max Plath, Connolly Lamolu, Mark Nichols, and Kenneth Bromwich.
Yeah, half this bench have played fairly regularly. Max Plath certainly has. First name that they would mention, did the job last year and will again if required. Mark Nichols, we've listed him on the bench there, but will start the season, you would think. Lamelu, who we said, very good recruit, will be useful again, has served the club well, and Bromwich can play prop or second row, so gives them some coverage.
All right, well, that's our best 17 for the Dolphins. It looks pretty solid. Not too many questions there, but I guess the main question is that good enough to make finals?
That's right. I mean, it's solid 17. The questions for them have been depth for the last couple of years. The other questions on them are new coach, so how long does it take to adjust under Woolf? And some of those guys that have been plagued by injuries, when do they come back? How long do they stand up for? Can they get through the season? So probably a few too many question marks to have enormous confidence, but if it all goes right for them, there's enough quality there for them to play finals for sure.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, that's our best 17. Let us know what you think in the comments. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Have your say down in that comment section as always. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have plenty of NRL content coming out on this channel this year. And catch all the latest NRL news at zerotackle.com.